So, it's Sunday, and it actually hasn't been a terrible Sunday. I should turn my music down. That's the first thing I need to do. I had planned on doing a Q&A, and I have enough questions to do that, and cover an interesting territory, I think. Like the same, there was just a handful of people who gave me questions, and they were careful not to stick to the same topic too much. So I have good questions, but I'm saving that for when I got an adequate amount of sleep, and I'm actually feeling kind of dizzy now, because despite only sleeping 5.5 hours and having a burgeoning migraine, here's the problem. No matter what time I come home, street noises. I face the street. I've commented on this in other videos. There's a motorcycle guy, at least one motorcycle guy, in the area, and he hasn't been as bad, or they haven't been as bad lately. They used to wake me up at like 3 o'clock and then sometime around 6 a.m. So something woke me up at 6 o'clock, and then I went back to sleep, and then there were truck noises at 8. So Park Slope really gets buzzing with activity early on Saturday and every morning, actually. But you can't sleep in unless you have a room on the back of your building. And while I could sleep in the living room during the summer, because we have a noisy radiator in there, so that prohibits sleep during the colder months. And it has been very chilly, despite it being May 8th. We had like the return of winter, and it rained for about 2 weeks. I think we had moments of sunlight here and there. Maybe last Saturday was the last time I saw sun. But the sun finally came out, and anyway, so when the sun comes out and I haven't slept, going out in it makes me feel like yes, I'm full of vigor, and it it'll keep me going for a little bit if I need to take a walk through the park, or that's actually what I was doing. So I got up at 8 o'clock and I went to the gym, and I wasn't very productive. I haven't done anything artistic or related to writing today, but I did go on a very, very long walk with Evan to something called Smorgasburg, which is like this convening of confluence, not a convening, a confluence of these artisan food crafters, and there's some people who are just selling, like, I got some hen of the woods mushrooms. This guy specializes in all varieties of mushrooms, and he was selling those, and I've been looking all over. I love hen of the woods mushrooms. It's probably my favorite food, and you just can't find them around here. You'd think, it's Park Slope, and there are lots of Asian food markets and organic markets. People love their exotic vegetables, and I haven't been able to find them. I mean, maybe dried, but they never rehydrate properly. So I got some of those, and I got this really cool. I'm gonna get it one second. Oh, and look at my Bernie Sanders shirt. Isn't this awesome? This is a Hellraiser Bernie Sanders shirt, and like 3 people stopped me at Smorgasburg. One guy wanted to take my photo. So yeah. So here we go. I got these mushroom elixirs. It's by Four Sigmatic. You can look them up. I haven't tried but one. They were giving away samples, or little, sample cups of the mushroom coffee. And unfortunately, it was the kind that has cordyceps, and it's too late in the day. I would like to get a good night's sleep. I see this. Cordyceps are a stimulant, so it's that, and shaga mushrooms, I guess. I've never heard of that. And coffee, and people say it's really good. So I'll try that sometime. And they've got another blend of mushroom coffee. I tried Lion's Mane Mushroom Elixir. This is the one that's supposed to, it just helps your brain. I don't know if you can see the package. It doesn't really matter. And they have mushroom hot cocoa. Again, this one has reishi mushrooms, and this one has cordyceps. And shaga mushroom elixir, which I believe is for to boost your immune system, and then reishi is a calming one, and they've got the cordyceps, which will probably keep me awake for a week. So I got all this stuff, and I got some handmade Guatemalan dark chocolate. I love Guatemalan chocolate. And in my Hen of the Woods mushroom. So yes, smorgasbord, and they have lots like the kimchi taco trucks and all kinds of fusion cuisines. I normally don't eat these things. I just shop. So yes. So my point is that despite being quite physically active today, I don't have a functional brain, really. I was correct yesterday in my estimation. It was a little off. I'm probably doing about 25% right now. So I don't want to attack the Q&A. I will save that for when I have my wits about me. But I do think I would like to do the Imperfections tag, or at least start on it. Maybe I need to cut myself. Maybe I need to set parameters, like only 10 minutes of imperfections. But we'll do this. I'll start it anyway. I haven't given this any forethought whatsoever. I'm just sort of because I can't think ahead right now. I'm just trying to like track my speech competently enough to make sense. I hate events that start at 11, by the way. I hate it. I know in other cities, goth events, I think they start at 9, right? Or they start at like 9 or 10, but this one starts at 11, when I went to last night. So yes, the first imperfection I will call your attention to is a lot of them have to do with just being old, because I didn't have them before I got old. I don't want to talk about my, because you might not see them until I point them out. Okay. I don't like my lower face anymore very much around my jawline. Oh, it's David Bowie. I don't like it. And it's asymmetrical. Alright, so let me show you what I'm talking about. This side of my face it's wider. My jaw is wider, but yet it's less prominent, and it doesn't go down as far. This side of my chin is way up here. This side of my chin, can you see that? It's totally, if I put something behind it, it's totally asymmetrical. Can you see how it's like this? It goes down, no, sorry, backwards. No, this way. No, this way, okay, like that. My brother has it too, and there's like a nodule of bone there. What the hell? My Evan, actually, who has a very beautiful square jaw that makes everyone envy him, including me, he has a slight, just on his chin, there's a nodule there too. It's the same side. Like, everyone who has this has it on the same side. So I'm not alone, but it's a bit freakish, and it's almost like when my skull was soft when I was a baby, maybe I slept on the right side too much. Anyway, so this side of my face is narrower. So I like to be photographed from this side, because then this side is broader, and it makes more sense. But so there's not as much support for my face, for my skin, which is, inevitably sliding off because I'm old, getting older, as we all are, at the same rate. So it's like this is slid down. This is still okay because it's wider. You know what I mean? Can you see that? It's just, I hate it. And I always knew there was going to be trouble with the lower part of my face because my jaw isn't square, and I so envy people who have the really square jaws and big cheekbones. I have good cheekbones, but not as good as my mom's. My mom has like these Native American, um, incredibly large cheekbones, and she has skin. She's a mutant. She's like 70, never has had any kind of anti-aging, plastic surgery, laser treatments, nothing. She looks 52 or something. She's just beautiful. And anyway, her skin has not wrinkled on her face. It's really thick and oily, and we think there's something peculiar about her collagen because she can't bend her ears. It's like nothing is flexible. She has some joint problems too, so I mean it's maybe if that's related, then it's kind of a curse. But I didn't inherit her skin. I inherited my dad's skin, which it's good. I mean, you know, I don't think I'll get cancer or anything, despite being pale. Nobody on my dad's side of the family has cancer. No one at all. And we have super elevated natural killer lymphs. I had some blood work done. It's kind of shocking that they're constantly elevated. But yeah, they smoke, they drink, they do all these terrible. They eat bad food. No one has cancer. So I think I probably have that working for me. Okay, so that's not an imperfection at all, but it has nothing to do with my appearance. So back to the shallow stuff that I hate. So I also have, I can't show this to you, but my legs, which I have great legs, I love them, but they are not aligned properly. Like my knees, I used to walk duck-footed, and people would ask me or comment on it or make fun, whatever. And I think some people just assume that because I was a dancer that I was accustomed to setting, just flaring my feet out because although I wasn't in ballet. So when my knees are facing forward, my big toes aim slightly out at an angle, and I can't do lunges or squats because it's not, if you're lunging with your knee forward and your toes out to the side, it just doesn't work. So that's pretty weird. I don't think many people notice it unless I'm pointing it out, and I kind of try to overcorrect. I don't walk duck-footed anymore. It's like I kind of walk on, it's probably bad for my feet, but I walk sort of on the sides of my feet so that I can have better alignment. I should get some special shoes. Okay, and what else? My teeth used to be a lot bigger and stronger. I know that this, because of where I am sitting, you probably just see a white strip of tooth, and they're actually white strip of teeth, like dentures. So look. Okay. All right. Can you see that? Can you see my little teeth? My tiny little teeth. Wait. There. Can you see? They're kind of small. They're like Vila Valo. He has these like ground down baby teeth, which, if you look at videos from like 1996, 98, 2000, he had bigger teeth, although there was a gap in the front, actually between all of them, I think. So anyway, the story on that is, I actually had really crooked teeth when I was, when my adult teeth were coming in. I had oral surgery. I had like major oral surgery. My mouth was a mess. And then when I was 12 or 13, I got braces. When I got my braces off, holy shit. It was like I had veneers. They were just perfect. They were so perfect. I couldn't believe how good they looked. My orthodontist was an asshole, and I always hated to go see him, but he really knew what he was doing. And so anyway, so after I got my braces off, he gave me this thing called a positioner. Perhaps you've heard of it, or maybe if you're of the same generation as me, maybe you had to wear one too. But it's this gummy thing that has like, the ideal tooth alignment already set up. It's not something they mold for you. At least I don't think he molded it for me. But I was instructed to wear it for a month, every night for a month. And because I'm a perfectionist, or maybe I should say because I overdo everything that's healthy or good for me in some way, I go way too far with things, in so many regards. But I wore that thing every night for the next 10 years. So we're talking 1992 until 2002. And sometime around... And my teeth continued to look beautiful until around the year 2000. That's when I first noticed... Oh, and I brushed them 6 times a day too, by the way, because I wanted them to stay... They were as white as a sheet. I wanted them to stay perfect. And I bleached them if I had, just a sip of coffee. My teeth were getting bleached using a home treatment, and of course I would do that longer than I was supposed to. So I was in Orlando around 1999-2000, and I remember coming home from work and looking at myself in the mirror. I think I was talking on the phone or something. Something caused me to smile when I was looking in the mirror, and I was like, where did my teeth go? They were just, it was like it came to me suddenly. I don't know, I hadn't noticed before that my teeth were smaller and they were sort of transparent. And then sometime after, I was visiting my parents, and they're very tidy people, and they like to, make sure that everything in my life is, taken care of, or things that they have any sort of influence over whatsoever. So, like mom would do my laundry, and my dad would clean my this mouthpiece. And he said, did you know that you have calcium deposits in this thing? And it clicked. Oh, I've been grinding my teeth into this thing for so long that it's like my teeth have worn off into this gummy structure, and they would continue to rub. So I lost so much of my enamel that I now have, and it started with my 2 canines. So I had to get bonding there, and not too much longer. I had to get it on the bottom canines as well, and then like all along the side. And I've also noticed that I grind my teeth at night when I'm experiencing work stress or any kind of stress. So that's a problem that I didn't have before. Well, I guess I've had it for long enough that it's not an aging problem. I can't really put it in that category. But yeah, okay, what else? When I took Accutane, my hair thinned, I would say 50%. So it was, I used to have so much hair, and in Florida, first of all, it was, oh my god, it was glorious. I had such beautiful hair that strangers would come up to me at school and just pet my hair. It was like almost down to my waist. I ironed it, and it's still very shiny. It's this shiny color. I had the best hair. Although in the summertime, because it's naturally kind of spirally, it would just, frizz out everywhere. But anyway, so not only my hair thinned when I took Accutane, I took it for longer than I should have, but that's not my fault. That wasn't me going and above and beyond the Call of Duty to my own detriment. That was the doctor. I think I was on it for 5 months. So hair was coming out, lots of it. Initially, I was happy about this because I had too much hair to deal with. And then in grad school, I wasn't sleeping because I had such a noisy apartment. Like night after night, it was maybe 4 hours. And to cope with that, before it was illegal, though I think it's illegal now anyway, I would take this stuff from Herbalife related to speed. What's that stuff called? Ephedra. It's basically speed. Yeah, these pills that had ephedra and some other stuff in them so that I could stay awake. I was in grad school. I had to perform. And my hair it covered the carpet. This apartment has hardwood floors just like every New York apartment does. But I had carpet. This is Tallahassee, Florida. And I would take my shoes off and walk around, and it was just like my toes were raking my hair. Really scary. And after I left that apartment, I actually, because the situation was so bad, I moved in with my parents back in Destin to finish my master's thesis, and that was good. So everything returned to normal there, and sort of. I mean, I was still not sleeping great, but it wasn't quite as bad as that. I definitely wasn't taking ephedra anymore. I think that made the situation worse. And then recently, this is weird. When I broke my toe 5 weeks ago, the first week, I think what happened was my body pulled as much of its resources as it could to try and mend the bone, because I could barely keep my eyes open. I was sleeping a lot, and I normally don't at all, even when I want to. And my hair was coming out in clumps in the shower for a week. So ever since then, it's like this used to stand up more, and it's not. So I've got to find a way. Look at that. Can you tell? I don't know. Anyway, it feels like it's thinner. So that's irritating, and definitely an imperfection now. And my hips. I know I'm the bane of my existence. I mentioned in another video how much I hate my hips. I'm a very small person, small boned and everything. I have a really short torso. This is part of the problem. Short torso, long legs. My hips come way up, and let's see if I can do this without embarrassing myself. So, can you see, like, you probably can't see. One of them comes up higher than the other, so that sucks. And before I started working out and, kind of repositioning my muscles and what little fat is down there, it just looked way out of proportion. Let me tell you this. So when I was in high school, I've always been really thin. My senior year in high school, I felt sort of left out because people would talk about their diets and, I'm trying to lose weight. No, I didn't exercise or do anything. I never even thought about food, really. I didn't like it that much. So I would have whatever I wanted, which wasn't a whole lot. It was mainly junk at that point. It was very healthy when I was a kid, and then my senior year of high school was basically peanut butter and jelly, Doritos, ramen noodles, and quiche for dinner. That's what I had day in, day out. And sometimes, oh, and Little Debbie snacks, which are horrible for you. But I was always very thin, and I felt like I was missing something. Like, why don't I have to worry about being on a diet? So I decided I wanted to see what it was like to have this problem. Or, I don't know. I don't know what happened in my brain. I decided, I think I'm going to try and put on some curves. So since I didn't really like anything. I mean, other than what I've just mentioned, which isn't healthy in the first place. But I was like, okay, so I've got to incorporate some other things that I can actually stand to put in my mouth. So there's this cheese Danish from Albertsons, and also some other, desserts that are horrible for you and contain trans fatty acids, like those cream horn, those French twists with the cream. I like those too. So I would just like eat this constantly, and I put on a few pounds, but it all went. It's like my hips. It would go to my hips, which are already, the bones are too wide, and slightly above my hips. So now I have like what looks like hips all the way up at my rib cage and no torso. I mean, seriously, I'm talking. My hip appeared to start here. Okay, so yes, so the hips have presented problems. I couldn't even successfully do that. I mean, I thought maybe I'll get, like some all over softness. Not really. I definitely didn't get a butt. I've never had. Oh, that's another thing. This is getting really long. Neither one of my parents has a butt, and it's totally flat. I mean, I do so many exercises to try to build this up, and I mean, there's a tiny curve there now, which is all muscle. There's no fat there whatsoever. I will never have fat there. It just doesn't go. It's like I'm not programmed to develop that. So that's annoying, and especially if you're going to put any pounds that you gain on the side of your body and slightly above your hips, it's a total like deformed. I don't have photos of like what it looked like. This was my senior year of high school. I didn't take, people didn't take tons of photos of themselves. I could probably draw a picture of the disproportions, but anyway. What else? Well, my face is pretty good. I've got good skin, I guess, mostly. So I'll switch to the things that I do like. Quickly, I'll just do a rundown. The eyebrows. You see my eyebrows? See them? They actually used to be much darker and thicker. This is another aging problem, but they would actually cast a shadow on my brow bone. They would sort of stick out, and then anyway, I love my eyebrows. I don't tweeze them. I don't color them. I've never had to do anything to them, and I just think they're amazing. And yeah, and I think my eyes are pretty amazing too. I'm not wearing any eye makeup, but the shape and everything, I'm very, very, very happy with that part of my. If this were my face, I think I could win some contests. Some contests that involve the evaluation of beauty. See how good that is? If that were all there was to me. If that were all there were, I should say. And so this is something that actually a perfection that has gone by the wayside as I've aged. I used to have these great dimples. Watch this. Watch. If I like pull my skin back. See how nice that is? I had these wonderful, they were just, tiny little, like deep and yet perfectly formed dimples in my cheeks forever until 30, 35, I guess, it started to change. 36, something like that. 36, I think, is when it started to change. It was somewhere around 36 when people stopped thinking that I was 23. Most people, anyway. And what else do I like? I mentioned the legs. I have absolutely zero cellulite, zero. They're just, I have, the very thin thigh gap runway model type legs. Though the misalignment, if you're really paying attention, you'll see that my knees and toes don't line up, but my thighs are incredible. So that's good. And I have a very flat torso. That's great. I really like my shoulders. It's all very like square, and my arms receive lots of compliments as well. So I'm pretty good on the bod, aside from the hips and the lack of a derriere. So all of my sex appeal has to come from my well-formed clavicles and my legs. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's all I need to do. So that's the imperfections tag. I could go on, but it's just gonna get. This is getting really long. It's already over half an hour, so maybe when I have my my cognitive prowess back, I'll do the Q&A and give that the attention that it deserves. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for watching. See you next time.